All right, hello and welcome to Theology on Tap. I have made videos in the past comparing the NIV with Peshitta, and the reason why I compare them is because I grew up with NIV, as well as King James Version, NASB, and all the versions that the evangelicals and the Protestants like to use. I think today the most popular one is King James Version, but when I was growing up it was NIV. But I love Peshitta. Right? And the main difference basically is the versions that I grew up with is translated from a Greek manuscript. This one happens to be translated from Aramaic. And I don't know, I just like it. And it just makes a lot more sense to me, even though some of it goes against what I grew up with, but I kind of like that as well. So today I'm going to go over Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19. And I still side with Peshitta. It makes more sense to me. But however, the difference is so different, and they actually say the opposite from one another. So I side with Peshitta, but I'm not saying I'm 100% correct either. But I would like your comments. So after watching this video, if you please like the video, share the video, and please leave a comment on what you believe is the I guess more fitting or better translation, and how it applies to your own theology or your faith. All right, so I want to just read to you from NIV first, or should I say NIV or the other popular versions. I'll read to you from NIV, all right? Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19. And it says this, a feast is made for laughter, wine makes life merry, and money is the answer for everything. Now, I could see that Ecclesiastes, I love Ecclesiastes a lot more than the Proverbs. And this verse seems to go along with what we in America believe. So it fits. The feast is made for laughter, obviously. And we just love to feast. On every weekend, we love to go out and feast. We laugh. Wine makes life merry. Definitely. We like to drink as well. And money is the answer for everything. It surely is. If you want to have a feast, if you want to have contentment in life, definitely money is the answer, especially in the United States of America. Everybody worries about money here because if you really think about it, you know, I am going to be 55 years old soon. That means in America, I'm only 10 years away from retirement, which I will never do because there's no way I could afford to. But American dream is to work, make a lot of money, and retire at the age of 62 to 65, and then take life easy, right? Just eat, drink, and be happy, because that is the essence of life. But in order to do that, you got to have money. Money is the answers to everything. Kind of goes against what I was kind of brought up, you know, like Jesus was. I saw, didn't Jesus? Or in the New Testament at least, is the love of money is the root of all evil. And people tend to say, yeah, money is the answer to everything, but love of money is the root of all evil. So you have to be very careful and wise. Maybe that's the case. If somebody knows how to do that, that'd be wonderful and great. All right? But I was watching a show on Netflix the other day, and it makes sense. It was talking about money in a sense that there is no freedom in life. Right? There's no freedom in life unless you have money. Or did he say something like, without money, there is no freedom? Which tends to be kind of true as well. And we all want to be free. We want to live our lives the way that we want to live. In order to do that, definitely you're going to have money. All right? So it makes sense. So I looked it up in the commentary, and even the commentary said something like, this is one of the positive views of money. Because without money, there's no freedom. Money buys happiness. Money could buy contentment. In fact, even in politics, right? I think a YouTuber named Secular Talk was talking about, you know, he lines with the socialist, and he said, yeah, giving free money get votes. So he agrees with what Sanders wants to do and things like that. So yeah, obviously, give me money and I'll vote for you. That's the whole point. So I went to, Bible Gateway and looked at the other translations. King James Version said the same thing. It said, money answers all things. Money is the answer to all things. American Standard Money answers all things. Money is the answer for everything. And all things obey money. That's another translation. I like that. All things obey money. But money solves a lot of problems. And these are just kind of commonsensical, isn't it? So if you look at all the versions that I grew up with, it says money is good because it answers to all things. Even I think the Jerusalem Bible says the same thing as well. It was very similar. And money answers everything. All right? So that's what he says. However, right, this is the kicker here, is that in Peshitta, it seems to say the opposite thing. Listen to what it says in Peshitta. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19. Money brings one low and causes him to go astray in all things. What? How do you get that? How do you get that? Once again, Peshitta. Money brings one low and causes him to go astray in all things. So it seems to agree with what the New Testament says, but instead of saying love of money is the root of all things, all evil, he says money. Money itself brings one low and causes him to go astray in all things. Right? And you could kind of say, I could see that. I know people who make a lot of money tend to let go or forget what they believed in the past. They change their perspective in life. Okay? Definitely so. So which one is correct? Which one do you agree with? How do you choose one is right or one is wrong? So I thought about this for a little while, and this is the conclusion that I get out of it, okay? This is the conclusion that I get out of it, and hopefully either you agree or disagree, please let me know. So when it comes to Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19, right? And if you look at the other verses surrounding it, excuse me, it's talking about the government a little bit. Government. So the government, it says, woe to land whose king is a servant, whose princes feast in the morning. All right. A king that is a servant, that means a king that answers to other people. Right? Definitely our president, not just Trump, but anyone who's been a president, does he have his own power? Obviously not. There are people that tries to control him as well. Another translation says, woe to a land where the king is a child. And that makes sense too. And whose princes feast in the morning. Now, what does that mean, princes feast in the morning? Well, I had to look that up a little bit too. And what basically it means to say is that the princes, or I would say in America, is kind of like the Congress, all right? What they do is eat in the morning, meaning that they do things for their own benefit, for their own laughter. Not for running the country for the people's sake. And they could say all they want, but, they make policies or their benefits, not the people, but maybe the corporations and things like that, meaning they get fat while the citizens get skinny. Is that a perfect description of what's going on in the United States of America right now? I think so. Then it goes into say laziness, right? Through laziness, the rafters sag. Because of idle hands, the house leaks. Basically what he's saying is that people get lazy and things are going to start breaking down. And this is when he says, a feast is made for laughter, wine makes life merry, and money is the answer for everything. So does that, verse 19, is it a continuation in the thought that comes from verse 17 and 18? If it is, then I would say that the way I look at this verse 19, is what it's trying to say is that, look, we rely on a government as human beings. We rely on a government, but in many cases, when we have a king that is like a servant, when we have a Congress that is for looking out for their own good, rather than the goods of the country, of the people of the country. When we have that kind of a situation, then I guess, we forget. The situation that we're in right now is that we have idle hands. We're not busy. We're not doing things to take care of our own, so the infrastructure of the country goes down. And I'm not just talking about the infrastructure in the sense of the buildings and whatnot, but infrastructure in society, the morality and unity, right? It goes down, right? And we start thinking and focusing upon things that are, I guess, not good for us. We want to be happy in life. We want to attend a feast and get drunk and be happy all the time. And that's what we're focused upon. And of course, if that's the focus, then money is the answer to all things. And when you get to that point, when we say money is the answer to all things, then we get to a point where we start relying on other people. We start relying on the government to hand things out so that we could, take life easy, right? Maybe that's socialism, but that's the mindset of the people, right? Maybe we just are not happy, so we want to be filled with wine and go to feast. And since the money is the answer for all things, we just desire it. And once that happens, we go astray in all things, right? All things. So I agree with Peshitta more in the sense that money, all right, will lead us astray. Because money is the answer for all things, you could say. It will lead us astray from what is important. It will give us idle hands. It will keep us unhappy. We would blame one another. There's no unity. There's a breakdown in the infrastructure of the family, as well as the society, the buildings, and other things. All the while, we have a king that is like a servant, and we have a Congress that is greedy. All right. So maybe that's what it's saying. I don't know, but that kind of makes sense to me. So either where we have a government that is not looking out for us or not, we should not, and that's why the Proverbs ends with, do not speak ill or negative or criticize the government or the rich people. All right? Because that's what we're going to do. If we believe in one way that money is the answer for all things, right? Let's look at that in a negative way. If we believe that, which is not true, then we're going to say it's the government's fault that we are struggling. It's the rich people's fault that is rich. And we don't have the money that they have, so we start getting jealous and throw insults and things like that. So if the money is the answer for all things, then definitely the result is going to be negative. We're going to criticize. We're going to throw insults. And that's exactly what I believe is going on. But if you were to look at it from what Peshitta is saying is that money will lead us astray in all things in life, then you could say, well, what we are being led to believe is not correct. That feasting and being happy, being drunk in wine, and having the money to do so would lead us astray. Right? It will lead us astray. And I really do think that we are living at a time where, money is leading us astray. This idea of easy life filled with feast and drunkenness, that life is leading people astray. So I'm going to side with Peshitta on this one as well. So far, all of them, if you look at my video comparing NIV with Peshitta, I love Peshitta. All right. So if you don't have it, get one and read it and see the difference. But this one, right, it changes the way you think. The whole culture is different. You want a happy life. You want to be able to travel around the world. You want to be able to eat, drink anytime you want. You want that kind of lifestyle? Money is the answer for everything, right? Or you look at those kind of life as a negative thing because it gives you an idle hands, right? And when you start thinking about money, it leaves people astray in all things, and what we get basically is a country or society that breaks down. Right? Well, that sounds much better. I think that makes more sense to me, because it is definitely going. That's what's going on. We're looking at easy life and free money and all that to be the answer to all our trouble. When you start thinking like that, then we're going to throw insults and we're going to hate one another. It's just leading us astray. But if we were to look at money as leading us away and start focusing upon work and helping one another, instead, then we wouldn't be criticizing or throwing insults at a government that really doesn't seem to really care about the average person or the working class, even though they say they do, right? Do we have a president that is a servant at this point? Do we have a Congress that doesn't care? All they care about is their own power and the money that they're making, right? They're all a bunch of millionaires, aren't they not? Are they not? Right? Which they do not share. All right? So think about that, right? Instead of getting upset at that, let's focus on work. Do not look for money to be the answer. I think that's what Peshitta is trying to say. That makes sense. That aligns more with what Jesus would say. All right? Anyways, God bless you. If you have a comment, if you still side with the NIV, please, that's fine. Let me know why. And if you like Peshitta, all right, let me know why. And if you have a better understanding of that verse, please write a comment and let me know why too. I'm thoroughly interested in Scripture. Thank you. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.